An extension of wordiness is the redundancy on the SAT. It is nothing but these are all wordy sentences, and these wordy sentences have to be made concise. So basically, this is the idea that this wordy sentence has to be made concise. Concision has to be taken care of. But these are a little different from wordy sentences because they follow a pattern. So let's look at them. Redundancy means to use the same word over and over again, right? So in a sentence, I could say that something was happening in some certain word and then repeat the same thing in a different word in the same sentence. So one of the parts could be deleted. Let's take an example. Margaret participates in an annual marathon to raise money for ulcerative colitis each year. Great. So now annual marathon, you can see that annual, the word would mean that each year. So definitely somehow or the other, either this one or this one can be eliminated. So you can rephrase the sentence to write either an annual event or whether she does it every year or not. Let's look at this one. Because the speaker was not using a microphone, his voice was inaudible and could not be heard. Same thing, inaudible would definitely would mean that could not be heard. So essentially this is what redundancy means. This is nothing but these are all wordy sentences, and these sentences have to be basically made concise. So that is how it is. I don't know where did that go. So this is wordy, right, and we need to take care of the concision of these sentences. So let's take some examples from the SAT. When for the first time the United States imported more oil than it exported, the Americans should have realized that an energy crisis was imminent and could happen in the future. Same thing, imminent would actually mean something that could happen in the future. Imminent equal to something that could happen in the future. So definitely A is incorrect. Could happen immediately in the future, will be imminent and happening soon, is an imminent thing and might be imminent. So the answer is definitely not a B, not a C, not a D, because is an imminent thing. Imminent is not definitely not a thing, and then again it is wordier than this one. Might be imminent is the most concise and the best way to put this sentence. So it should simply be the sentence should simply read, Americans should have realized that an energy crisis might be imminent. Perfect. Errors on the concisions will happen under these following circumstances. Number one, compound verb phrases. So whenever we have got verb phrases that would actually mean the same, spun and twirled in this manner, in this case, you can have a look at this sentence, basically means the same, spun and twirled on the table. Then adjectives which mean the same, large, beautiful and enormous. Okay, beautiful and enormous because probably large and enormous would mean the same thing. So you can eliminate either large or enormous. Of course, I mean we have eliminated large. We can use either of the two. Then adverbs, she ran quickly and speedily. So quickly means the same, she ran speedily into the house. Implied descriptors. So there are some descriptors which are implied, which doesn't need to be actually said, right? I mean, and these are basically omitted. This could be omitted. So these are words that could be omitted from the sentences because they are already implied, right? So let's see that coniferous and deciduous trees have several varied differences. So several differences would mean definitely differences are always varied. Differences cannot be alike, they have to be varied. So several differences would solve your problem. So varied does not need to be written, it is already implied in the word differences. So let's do some examples just to highlight what redundancy on the SAT would look like. Psychologists do not agree about what is the definition of happiness and how to measure it. Do not agree about what is the definition of happiness and how to measure it. Now whenever I see this word and, I feel that these are two parallel elements that need to be understood. So how to measure happiness and definition, these are the two words. So this is a rather wordy sentence. we can do away with this. So probably what is the definition of happiness and how to measure it? Number one, how to define and measure happiness? Probably a good answer. How to define happiness and also to measure it? Not a good answer. I mean, at least not. So basically, what that means is there is no grammar error. Actually, these are not grammatically incorrect. Many of them would not be grammatically incorrect, but the most concise looks to be B, the definition of happiness and measuring it. So psychologists do not agree about the definition of happiness and measuring it. Definitely not they are not looking at how to measure it is the sense that sentence made. So how to define and measure happiness is the most probable answer, or in fact it is the answer for this one. Even though she has just recovered from a severe bout of influenza, Julie did not want to miss her upcoming basketball game because of her being an extremely competitive athlete. Now, same thing, we are looking at a gerund of being, so we want to remove that, eliminate that, because she is probably an extremely competitive. So let's look at it. A is definitely eliminated because her being again eliminated. When she is extremely, because she is an extremely competitive athlete. When she is being again eliminated. So the most probable, in fact, the actual answer for this one would be D. B and D. These are the answers to these ones. Stay tuned. Minor, small, but other standard English conventions follow.